Hello everyone and welcome to Episode 3 of HowToHypothetical. I'm one of your hosts, Billy, along with
Cam.
And Charlie.
Today's episode, we're going to be doing have a discussion on something that I've always thought about probably since I was 10 years old, and I like to think of it as I challenged myself to discover new puzzles and stuff like that in a different way of thinking, but it could just be that I was really bored or really weird and had some really weird thoughts. But anyways, I'm gonna talk to the guys and see what they think about it and present the situation to them, and we'll see if they like it. So I hope you enjoy the show.
So we got our first listener suggestion. Actually, I don't even know if he's actually listened yet, but he knows about it. It's our friend Manny, and so here's our first one. What would happen if we only ate pudding for 1 week? There was no further details than that. We don't know what kind of pudding this is. We don't know if it's like...
So, good news is that suggestions after this will look good. Okay, my biggest question is what kind of pudding I would choose to eat for 1 week that I think I could actually be fine with and not get sick of. And I think it would be butterscotch for me.
Oh, gross.
No, man, I love butterscotch pudding.
I don't even like the first
I don't think I can
cup.
get sick of it. See, for me, that's one I feel like I could just go forever.
Yeah, but okay, one thing. Okay, a week? I could do a week. I could do a week. I could do
butterscotch?
No. Nobody should do butterscotch. That's the worst pudding.
It's underestimated. It's really good.
I think I could do a week. Like, a month would be hard. I think a month of pudding, a week I could do.
A month, at the end of a week, you'd still feel really sick. At the end of a month, you'd be in a hospital.
Yes, you know, if it was just like your basic pudding, so what is like milk... Is there
Vanilla,
eggs in there?
like, no.
There's just powder and milk, beat it, right?
I think
That's it?
I think you put an egg. No, you don't put an egg, maybe. Well, it just depends, because you can make
like
your own.
Jell-O box pudding.
Because we
Jell-O-box.
went to a class,
yeah.
like in our cooking class, when she made a pudding, I'm pretty sure she put an egg in there. Because that was from scratch, right? That wasn't with a box.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, so any kind of pudding. I mean, if it can be like a healthy pudding, then you can do it forever.
But what's a healthy pudding?
Rice pudding.
They all have tons of sugar.
Rice pudding is delicious.
It is
delicious.
really... can you count that? Are we allowed to count that?
Yeah, it's called pudding. It's in the name.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I swap.
Bread pudding.
I swap.
No, you guys don't like bread pudding?
I don't mind it.
It's pretty good. When's the
But
last time you've had
It's,
it?
again,
That's
better
true.
than
Fair enough.
better
I
than
haven't had it
butterscotch.
forever.
Yeah.
No, I love butterscotch.
No, if you just had to choose a normal pudding, it would just probably have to be chocolate pudding.
See, I've had a
Like a
lot of
snack
that
pack.
before and got sick of it very fast.
In a week? But that's all you ate. Oh yeah, that would make
I just
it
had
much faster.
a large portion when I was really young, and like by the end of it, I was like, "Oh, gross." But I never got that way with butterscotch.
No, I don't. So
Never had that much.
why in this scenario are you not varying up the types of pudding? Why? Like,
Oh yeah.
why would you not? Why are we pigeonholing ourselves to only butterscotch pudding?
Fair enough. Okay, I would have to swap it up every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have your breakfast kind of pudding, which would be something a little less sweet, because you don't want to just like.
No,
have
I
a-
would. I'd start sweet.
I guess normal breakfast, like Canadian breakfast, American breakfast, is like pancakes with a shit ton of syrup.
Yeah, that's where you start with your. I don't know, not butterscotch, but like chocolate pudding. That's when you have
Maybe
that.
like a pistachio pudding. That's like a
see,
breakfast
there we go.
pudding.
Yeah.
Or bread pudding. That's a breakfast.
Is there a banana pudding?
For sure.
There is.
There is a banana pudding, right?
For sure.
I'm thinking about it in my head. I think it tastes pretty good.
Probably got that gross artificial banana flavor.
Well, yeah, I don't
Those
mind that.
styrofoam spongy banana candies.
Oh no, those are only one is good. Anything after that is not. It would be like it tastes kind of like the banana medicine the kids gonna have.
Yeah, that I didn't mind.
Yeah, it has the same artificial flavor, banana flavor.
I heard a thing about the artificial banana flavor that we call artificial banana flavor. Apparently, that is the real banana flavor, but those bananas went extinct. And now they are like, now we just have like these bananas like that are like not as flavorful or a different flavor.
Who told you this? This was a theory
Yeah,
from
where
somebody?
did you hear this?
It's a while ago when I heard this, and I don't remember where my source came from, but I heard it, and I think at some point I'm gonna look this
How are
up.
how are they still getting the flavor for it?
They held on
They're
to it.
just artificially reproducing it now.
Scientists. I have,
Yeah, they can artificially make like any flavor. Like, do you remember? Did you ever watch the show Nathan For You?
Oh my god.
That show is so good.
So there was
It's hard to watch.
Oh, it's
embarrassing.
There was an episode where he was helping a frozen yogurt
Oh my
store
God.
Oh my
get
goodness.
like publicity and people to come in, and his idea was a poo flavored yogurt.
Yeah.
And they just designed the flavor in a lab, and he tasted it and said, well, he tasted like what he thought
Tasted
shit
crap,
would
yeah.
taste like. And so, but see, they can make any flavor. So they're probably,
Okay, so
They had a ton of customers too, right off the bat. And then it immediately stopped because everyone's like, I just want to try this once. And then after that, they're like, why would I ever put myself through that again?
okay, so I just looked it up. So it's a myth about okay. Well, it's a myth about the banana flavoring, like that thing being fully wiped out. But there was a certain type of banana flavoring that has been out that was based on this bananas that have gone extinct. So
that's
there are like a section of people that have only like that type of artificial thing. They are tasting like this extinct banana.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So just had to double check that.
is it true that there's only a very limited types of bananas left? Wasn't there like a
There's
rumor
a
that they're
scare
going
right now.
extinct
There's
or
a
something?
scare right now, supposedly because there's like on like a virus or disease for them for banana trees right now that's going around and just like killing a ton of the trees and ruining them. And supposedly there's only like a few good sections of banana farms right now that don't have this infestation or something. That was the last thing I heard about that. I heard that about some other
bananas
plants
aren't
and everything
that
as well.
We've
bananas
gotten
are
off
great.
we've gotten off the pudding topic just a little bit, but I think that like I would just miss solid food. Like at the end of that week, I
Yeah.
like having like just like something,
Isn't bread pudding kind of thicker?
Yeah, it's thicker.
and like rice pudding has
chew
like the chunks in it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but that's not even like
I think we're missing probably like a staple pudding that we would
that would solve.
would solve it all. Like a meat pudding,
Oh,
a vegetable pudding, like that seems gross to think about, but it actually just exists, and you just aren't thinking about it.
yeah.
It's called just blending meat.
Oh, gross, yeah. But yeah, I think after a week, you would probably be like not feeling great.
Yeah.
You wouldn't die. Anything longer, like a month, I think you'd start to.
Yeah.
You
It
have
would start to
go-
affect
You
you.
have to go to the hospital
Yeah.
for sure. And the doctor would just sigh and then probably hit you and be like, stop wasting our healthcare.
Stop eating pudding.
There's a guy bleeding out there and we're treating you because all you've been eating is pudding.
Because you have stomach issues. That's how you
Yeah.
get into emergency the fastest. Yeah, your stomach hurts. Yeah, they'll let you get in faster than other
I
people.
think I feel some bleeding in there.
Beat the system.
Okay, you want to get to topic number one? You teased that thing pretty well,
Okay.
so
So, like I said before, this is something that I've thought about since I was probably like 10 years old. Almost every day, I run a different scenario through my head, and it's kind of runs into like the superpower category, but it's so much more beyond that. It's if you had I'm going to turn it into a question, but the main part of it is solely what I always thought about. But the question would be, if you had the power to do absolutely anything, like impossible, possible, anything you could possibly fathom, would you make it public, choose to only tell a few people, or not tell anyone at all?
yeah. I can manipulate time, space,
Anything.
everything.
More than once, or you can do something
Anything
one time.
forever.
So-
you are just
You're just
you're
a
God.
god. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I am still I wouldn't tell anybody.
It's hard because
I think you'd have to tell your spouse.
yeah, and that's where I had a conversation with someone for about 2 hours about this, because it comes down to your family and friends. Like, if you have all this power, how do you not tell somebody? Like, there's the thing where you could tell someone if it goes horribly wrong, you just erase their memory.
And that's why I wouldn't tell anybody, because the level of trust that people would have in you would be so compromised. Like, how do they know that you haven't been messing with them that whole time? And so I think that this is like one of those scenarios where it's like ignorance is probably the
bliss.
best. Yeah, it's bliss for those people. Because if they knew that you had the ability to do anything, change time, change everything, how could they live in that world?
Yes, I'm glad your mind went there, because that's where mine goes every time. Where, yeah, exactly. If you had the power to do everything, you could tell somebody, you could tell your spouse, I would never manipulate your mind or deceive you in any way or use my powers on you unless you said I could. How could she ever trust that? Because she knows you could do something, and then if it goes horrible, make her completely forget about it, or go back in time and just never tell her.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But you could also just make her believe it.
for sure. Well, making her believe it wouldn't be hard at all. You could just instantly make a milkshake in your hand, just out of thin air.
No. Like you can make her believe that you would never take advantage.
You could. But if you're telling her that you'll never do that, and you just did it, now you're just doing a straight up lie right to her face.
She would never know.
Yeah.
You would never know. Like, you'd be like, I would never do it. And then you just make them believe that you're telling the truth. And then you don't have to worry about it.
And that's the darkness behind this power that always goes through my head all the time. It's like, I'm glad I don't have this, because I feel like I would manipulate people's minds to always being okay with this and never have a negative thought ever. Like, you could solve world peace by just blinking, and now everyone will never have an evil thought ever again.
But the
chaos that might cause.
The world would be so different.
They'd be trying to kill you.
No. First of all, they wouldn't be able to, because I would just make them not.
Yeah, you could make it so they could never be able to move upon any sort of thought like that, or never even have any thought like that.
Or that you can never die or feel pain.
Yeah, see, that would be the fun one, where you make it so you're invincible, but you let them do whatever they want. And they're just like, some assassin comes up, tries to slit your throat, dulls his knife. It's just like, what the hell?
Just shatters on your neck.
And you just turn around.
I think it would still be scary.
No,
it would be
because
hard.
you have zero fear. You're God.
You can make yourself have no fear, I guess. I feel like I would still be scared of a lion charging at me, jumping onto my throat.
You have to think about it, that you can do, and there's no limit to your power.
Yeah.
At every moment and stage of life, every second that you're there, you know every outcome of every scenario that can ever happen, and you know exactly what's going to happen all the time.
You would get so bored so fast.
You would, because you know the result of everything you're about to do.
Yeah, it would be boring. And first of all, this is like one of those absolute powers corrupts absolutely, because there's no way that you stay sane with the ability to do anything.
You just make yourself stay safe.
But that's the thing. But that's exactly right. That's
and
exactly right.
You make yourself never get bored.
Because you're thinking of yourself as a human, and humans can definitely succumb to all that. But in this state, you can't. You are all powerful. The moment you start feeling any negative emotion, you'll just cancel that out automatically. Right? And that's the thing. That's why this is you can always have. This is why I like it as a kind of like a brain exercise, because everything you think of, there's always a way to counter it, and you're always thinking of a new way to counter every single thing you're thinking about.
The world, I'd get so bored of the way that the world is, and everything, it would be super narcissistic, but everything would have to revolve around you.
It would.
Right? And so like I could change this into Mario Land. Like this is just Mario World now, and like I'm Mario and I'm gonna run through like Mario World.
I honestly, I think I would limit my powers to a certain extent out of boredom, something that I could always turn back if I wanted to, but I would make it so I can never just know the outcome of whatever's going to happen immediately, unless it was maybe something that was bad was about to happen. And now think of everything after that would have to change if everyone knew you had the powers. If all of a sudden everyone knew I had that power, I would immediately, first thing would be, okay, how can I protect every single person that knows me to make sure that they're not getting captured or going to be killed for my sake, for getting to me or something like that. Like all of my family, without telling them, I would have to give them like skin of steel and immune to poison.
Make them all invincible.
Make them all invincible. And they don't even know until accidentally Charlie's walking across the street one day, boom, gets hit by a truck, and the truck just gets split in half because he doesn't move and that thing just...
Yeah, no, like there's just no way that you can share that. You just can't. You couldn't, if you were to go on a news conference and be like, I can do anything, and then like you just like, make a milkshake appear in your hand, or like turn into a tiger or something like that. Like you can't.
People would just think that's magic,
right? And then like
until you talk in everyone's head at once and say, this isn't magic. I own you now.
Oh, man.
Like, okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of references here. So there's The Watchmen with Dr. Manhattan, and One Punch Man, like the old the anime series.
That's so good.
Okay, so the two things that those guys have in common is that they are incredibly overpowered for the universe that they are in.
Yes.
Right? And the thing that they share is complete apathy. They are tired of humanity. They are done. Like they just are bored, and they are like beyond human. Right?
Yeah.
Well, like One Punch Man does like 10 push-ups.
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups.
You have to
10 kilometers or something every day.
It's something. It's super mild.
It's like doable.
It's like it's a good workout, but it's very doable. It's like that's a very average workout. See, but again, in terms of that though, is where like I can kind of cheese it now and say those people didn't have the abilities to control their own emotion. You can make it so you will never feel those emotions.
Yeah, but you would though. Like
I
that's the
wouldn't
thing.
wanna feel bored.
Is that like you would just turn into a constant state of like 15 minutes or like however long, and then you're having to like, oh yeah, I'm bored again. Oh, I'm not bored.
No, you
like,
make it so you're never bored ever.
How?
That's
You
your
can just do
God.
it.
No, I know, but like physically, like or like around you, what would you do? Like
You do stuff.
Just fly around. I don't think you'd ever get bored of just flying around.
But that's
Maybe
why
go to another universe.
That's why I
check it
would
out.
never just solve the world's problems just with the snap of my fingers. I would probably just go on an individual basis try to do it and never make sure I know the result of whatever's going to happen and just pretty much play superhero.
Yeah, so you would be like the Incredible Hulk, like old Incredible Hulk style, from like going from town to town, just like a traveler.
Yeah, I'd just wander around and save people. But like I wouldn't wander. I would teleport.
Become the best.
I wouldn't actually walk.
Let's be real. I'm not gonna sit in a car when I can just blink and be in China.
Things would just lose so much meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Like
sure.
Human companionship would have no, like there would be no sense of like feeling there. Money would have no value. The striving towards anything is gone. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't even fucking walk to another town. You're gonna teleport to, like, you would teleport everywhere.
Yeah.
You would have no problems.
For sure.
And so this is like a literary thing, but every story that ever exists has some kind of conflict in it.
Yeah.
Right? And without conflict, it's a boring story and a terrible, like, it's not a story.
Yeah.
Right? You have no that's your life. You have the movie Boyhood, which
But
was boring
imagine-
as shit.
Imagine,
I never did watch it.
It's boring. There's no conflict. It's like, oh, there's like a little bit here and there, but there's like nothing happens really. It's a good
imagine
movie,
like
though.
right
It is a
off,
good movie.
right off the bat though, all the things you do or immediately try to learn and stuff like that.
You would need to learn. You would just know it instantly.
But like all the imagine like now think of it from like everyone else's perspective, like just a regular person, the things that they'd want you to help them with or no. Like you'd have Bigfoot people coming up to you, come on man, is this real or did I just waste my life? And you'd be like, sorry bud. As you put your hand on their shoulder.
But you can just make
You'd be like,
a
I can
Bigfoot.
make him real.
Yeah.
I
You
can
want
make
a Bigfoot?
Do you want him real? I'll make him real. And I'll make you not know that I just did that. And you'll live a great life. I'll release a few Bigfoot. You go find them.
You could have multiple realities where you just like change something slightly.
Yeah.
Where like you just like had a world where like Bigfoot was real. And like there's like one guy finds Bigfoot and that actually happens. Or like vampires or Loch Ness Monster.
One thing that I always say, like, go through my head that I would do, and it was more so when I was younger, when I played a lot of video games, is, and we're going to have a conversation about this later. This is just, it has to be a topic. I would, like, when all my friends and I played World of Warcraft, just be like, hey guys, want to just be in the World of Warcraft right now? Let's just right now, boom, I'll make us all level 1s. And we're going to be whatever race we decide, and let's just go through the game, but, like, I'll make it real life. And I can do it with only taking maybe a second or not even of our current life. So, like, when we finish the game, we come back, we're exactly where we left off.
You wouldn't do that though, because you would go into the game and then you'd be like, well, I don't want to farm and go and hit all these like grind out these levels.
But that'd be the fun of it, though. Like, that's what makes the game fun.
The second that you have the chance of like, I can just be max level immediately, you're gonna take it.
Yeah,
and, like,
but I hate that about the game. I hate when you start a new game, they give you like almost a max level guy or it's only 10 levels down from what the new max level is. It ruins the game. The best part about the game that everyone will always tell you, except for the people who just like to raid, is that was starting off level 1 and getting to that point back when it was hard. And that's what I enjoy doing the most, right? And that's what I think would be the craziest thing to do, would just be to start off in that, and you can still die, but you respawn just like in the game. You turn into a ghost and you have to go find your body, get back in your body, and keep going. Like, man, that would be the funnest thing ever. That has to be a separate discussion though, because that would be a fun discussion to go into.
Video game reality.
Game reality. If you could go into any video game, what would it be? Stay tuned for next episode.
You know what? You could have a world in which you make the only edible resource pudding. And just see what happens. You could just see, like, how long could humanity last if only pudding was available?
I make this new super pudding.
So one thing you can do to ease your boredom is you can make one other person like you.
Oh. Ooh, but you always have the power to outdo everything that they can do, or else you die. They will.
No, you make it like your wife.
So,
do you trust her that much to give her that power?
You should.
You should. And I would like to think I do. But man, if you had the option to give anyone that kind of power,
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever say yes to that. Not even the person I care or love the most would I ever give them that kind of power. That seems crazy.
It's a burden.
Yeah, it's a burden. You live forever.
What we're kind of like on the edge of here is like biblical. Like we're like almost of like the fall of like Lucifer and all that kind of stuff, right? Is that like somebody that like was almost as powerful as God and thought that they were like as powerful or could do things better than God, and God was like, bunk, and like banished. Banished. Right? Like that's a, like your scenario of like you just want like a little bit more power than them is your scenario.
I know.
Pretty close.
And that's, whenever I thought about this as a kid too, it's just like, oh, maybe I would be like, when I was really young, it's like, oh, maybe I'll just like one day wake up and I'll have these powers and it'll just be like crazy. And then I was like, no, that wouldn't be good for anybody if I had these powers.
Not at that age.
Well, you'd be the most mature person in the world. Even at that age, because now you're God.
Now, like, going back to like what you were saying, is like another literary reference here is Frankenstein. And like Frankenstein is created. He has like supernatural abilities, and he is so alone that like it becomes his only task is for him to get like Frankenstein to create another creature like him.
It's also because he's butt ugly, no one wants to be his friend.
Exactly. Yeah, that is it as well. But like that's where like I think that's what you would have to do. You would have to have somebody as equally as powerful as you to live and be as a companion to continue to exist. And that could go horribly wrong for yourself, but I think that's the only way that you survive. That's the only way that you don't go crazy.
Yeah.
It would just make it so much more enjoyable to be with somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where it comes down to, I think I would choose to tell a select few number of people, and for whatever task we were going to do, give them the power that they needed to get through it. So it's like, hey, do you guys want to like literally go to some other planet where there's other species and stuff like that? Boom, I snap my fingers and they're immune to any sort of biological damage or physical damage or whatever, and we just go to that world and explore. Now, like, you could blow people's minds with stuff like that.
I know, but hold on a second. So let's say you have this ability, and then you're like, hey, Charlie, Cam, you guys want to go and like hang out on Alpha Centauri 5 and with all these like sweet aliens and all this kind of stuff.
Did you just make up that name, or is that...
I've heard that somewhere.
Okay. Because I was like, that's great. That's like sci-fi good.
But like, you're immune to all this stuff. You have all these like powers and stuff like that. Yeah. But then when we get back to Earth, you're just going to take that back.
I'm actually going to erase your memory. So you're not going to remember that. But in the moment, it'll be pretty cool.
I would hate you. I would hate you if you gave me all of these abilities one time and then just like took them back and I'm a normal human again.
Would you be okay with it if I told you that at the end of it I would release you of any sort of emotion like that? So you'd never feel any sort of loss from losing those powers?
You would only just be grateful.
You'd only experience or remember the fun and enjoy the fun, but you'd never have the negative emotion of losing all that. Like, that's saying you can manipulate anything. Yeah. There's always a right answer.
So now that I'm thinking about it, I think I would rather that one where like it was like intermittent power. Where like I would have power every now and then, and then go back to
be the best friend of this guy.
Potentially, because like then like it would suck having your power taken away, but then you still hold on to that like humanic struggle, like the humanity of the struggle, right? You still have to have a job and stuff like that. You still have to exist.
I see Charlie just tilting his head like, I would still like to live forever.
It would be hard to give up everything.
Yeah.
The ability to do anything. Like, you'll never have an issue or problem in your life again. Mm-hmm. And you can even make it so you're like, hey, I'm going to make it so I'm just like perfect in life and like I have everything I need, but I'm not like superhuman.
Yeah, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, this is not good because, so they kind of touch on this with Doctor Who, and I don't think you guys are Doctor Who people. So kind of the thing is that he's like a Time Lord, or she, but Time Lord, and is immortal. Keeps like regenerating and like can go anywhere, see anything, and every now and then he takes like a human companion with him, and when he leaves those people, it like ruins their lives because they continue to age, right, and like live their lives, and he leaves and goes and keeps living, but like they are like addicted to that lifestyle a lot of times.
How much time does he spend with those people?
He'll spend like years with them.
Oh, years.
Yeah.
Years. Just like an afternoon.
Yeah. No. Like,
you'd ruin someone's life then, because after years they develop such like habits and almost reliance on that power.
Yeah, no. So I take that back. I want the power again.
It's funny, and I was laughing because right as soon as you mentioned that you would want to be the other person, Charlie's reaction and tone was like he just experienced that loss of losing all that power. It's like you just robbed him of being able to do everything.
Take a step back.
Let's not go crazy here. I still want to be God.
Well, would you rather everyone have the power or no one has the power?
No one. I'd rather there's the saying, if everyone is special, then no one is. I think that was on like Incredibles or something like that. But it's like super deep. Like if everyone is special, then no one is.
And I agree with that, because if everyone had that ability on Earth, first of all, probably everyone would leave and go somewhere else. But if just say everyone had that power in general, yeah, there would be zero conflict and nothing would ever happen again. And like you'd just be complete boredom. Like at least if one person has it, there's always other stuff going on that you can kind of work with and play with. But that's kind of bad because that's people's lives essentially. I'm saying you can play with their lives.
Yeah.
But realistically, if no one has the power, though, at least there's still ups and downs and stuff that you're experiencing.
It's just what we have now.
That's just normal life. Because if everyone had that level of ability, you could just take someone's ability away from them.
Would you rather everyone have one ability, or nobody has anything?
And is it just random?
My Hero Academia, where everybody, well, not everybody, but like 70-80% of the population is born with like one random ability or special power.
That could be like for some people it's like a useful superpower. For some of them it's maybe just they can like move light objects with their mind and stuff like that.
None of them are like really extreme powers. Mm-hmm. Every like random once in 100, once in 1,000, they have like a really crazy power and they're pretty special. But everyone else,
well, like when we say not crazy power, we're saying comparing to what we were just talking about. Because a guy can punch down a mountain. He can blow a chunk out of a city with one punch.
Who?
Spoilers. Oh no, you've seen the whole thing.
I've seen it all. Yeah. Who?
The main guy, the main superhero, All Might.
Yeah, but like he's the exception, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
And then, there's other people. Like one person, all he can do is he has these purple like balls on his head that are sticky, and they keep coming back, and he can pull one off and throw it, and it's really sticky. He can make an infinite amount, but after he starts making too many, his head starts to bleed where they come out. It's like, but like really sticky. You cannot get it off.
I don't know.
He could use it for a lot of stuff. You could climb with those. He puts those on his hands and feet, and then he climbs up buildings with it.
I don't think like it kind of falls into like that X-Men thing where there's like, I think that like the 10% or the 20% that don't have powers would feel very marginalized and threatened. And 10% of the population is still like a significant amount of people, and you would have probably like a fairly militarized percentage.
Yeah, and then you got to imagine like X-Men if it's the opposite number there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So if you're 80% normal and 20% of people have this ability.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be, I think that either way with that kind of thing, this leads back to, like, you can't make it public. There's no way that you could, in all good conscience, if you were imbued with this power, live your life with people knowing this.
I think you just have to leave. Go to a different universe.
Yeah. Go find some other life.
Just float in space.
But I could do that simultaneously at the exact same time. Because I could have another self living a different life somewhere else.
Oh my god!
I know there's solutions and problems all around the corner.
I'd go and see what like the center of the sun. What's that like?
I still think best case scenario is that I just have the power and no one else.
I think you just take away all your power.
I trust.
Except give yourself.
But you take it,
which is in our society basically a superpower.
See, I would do that as long as I've also the ability to give it all back.
No, then you'll just take it back.
Yeah, I would. for sure. Because I would never give it up. I could never.
Just be like a little faster, a little stronger than anybody. Be a little better than the best person in every sport. So like you're a little better than McDavid, you're a little better than
LeBron
Khabib,
James.
a little better than LeBron James. Just a little.
But no one knows. No one knew that you had this.
No,
that
they're
you did
just
that.
like some amazing all-star super athlete, and whenever someone else comes, you improve just a little better to be better than that guy. So,
He's 74 years old and still the best NHL player.
the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
See, I would like to think I could still do stuff like that if I had those powers, but I get the boredom aspect. But I would still love messing with people and doing stuff like that.
It would just be so fun.
It would,
yeah.
like I think that I would be very into it, but like I would probably eventually, and probably quicker than I think, lose interest in this thing, and would either limit my power so that like I had some powers but not infinite power.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable, and then or create another being of equal or even like two equal ability to my own.
Like Hancock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good one. Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen Hancock?
Yeah,
Will
but
Smith.
doesn't there's the other girl with the same power as him?
Yeah,
but then whenever they're
too
together,
close,
though, the world is so then they can. That whole concept is screwed. Then.
No, but like this, the idea
never have a
of like
companion then.
he was like he would help people every now and then, but again, like it comes to he was alone and he was bored. And like that's like it seems like to be like a very human thing is that you would become so lonely. But then when he finds out that she has the same amount of power as him and stuff like that, like he is like reignites his like thing, and then then they have to separate and stuff like that, which sucks. But you just make your universe where that doesn't happen.
I think this is almost a conversation that could go on forever.
Yeah, we
you
could
could
keep
have
talking.
like again have unlimited scenarios and things that we can discuss.
I think I would tell one person.
Yeah, I think for me, I would tell, either one person or just a select few people in my family. That would be my decision.
I wouldn't tell anybody. I wouldn't be able to tell a person.
Yeah.
And even if
It's
I did,
tough.
they would have no idea.
I'm very close to not telling anybody either. I don't know. You have to overcome that loneliness somehow by bringing somebody in.
The thing is, I would like to. My reason for choosing that was because I would like to be able to bring joy and excitement to other people's lives by telling them and doing stuff for them. Be like, okay, what do you want to do? It's like, oh, you love hockey. I'm gonna make you the best hockey player in the world. Let's see where you can go. Right?
You can do that without them even knowing
Without
you have
them
that
even
ability,
knowing.
right? Because you can just read their mind. Oh, that's what they really want to do. Okay, let's.
Yeah,
just do this.
you just want the credit.
But yeah, see, it's true.
No anonymity.
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah,
That's the word.
Yeah, it's very
No.
true, and that's why
Similar
I
to that, but that's wrong. But
I'm not
would-
even going to attempt.
no.
I would. Yeah, it's very true.
Anonymity. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Being anonymous. Let's go with that.
What is to be anonymous?
Okay, so I think that's going to do it for episode 3.
Yeah, that was a bit of a longer one already too, but I think that was pretty much it. So we'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Again, if you have any suggestions about what you'd like for us or what you'd like to hear or different discussions, hypotheticals, suggestions like Manny's.
Yeah, thank you, Manny, for the suggestion.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoy your pudding.
But yeah, just give us a shout. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the episode.
Bye.
All right, see ya.
Bye. Hello again, this is your host Billy. If you enjoyed this episode or think there is something we can do to improve the experience, then let us know. You can email us at howtohypothetical@gmail.com or message us on our Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time on How to Hypothetical.